Hey guys, it's Jessica Hayes. So today I have recorded for you this very extreme but matte orangey smoky eye with this really cool blackened teal glitter lip. I just recently dyed my hair this kind of bluish smoky teal color. I'll leave the link for the hair dye in the description box below, but with this hair color I just thought a super orange eye would be awesome. And I also had a request from a follower to do a look with the Viseart Dark Matte Palette as well, so I will be using this today for this tutorial. So if you're into this look and want to see how I've done it, keep watching and I will teach you exactly how to do it. So going to be starting off with this Rodial SPF 30. Always use sunscreen. It's super important. I definitely have some darker spots from previous sun damage from when I was 17 and didn't listen to my mother and baked myself in the sun. So trying to not do any more damage, so SPF is super important. I recently went back to the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. Pretty much I flip-flop between this and the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer, but for some reason I grabbed the light warm shade. I should have grabbed the lighter shade, so because it's a little too dark for me, just a smidge. I'm just gonna add some of the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye to it because this is really light. Then I'm just gonna use this IT Cosmetics No. 7 brush to blend it in. To prime the eyes, I'm going to use the NYX HD Eye Primer. For this look, I'm going to be taking the Viseart Dark Matte Palette. I've only used the purple shades in this palette so far, so let's see how it goes. I'm just gonna stick to these 4 shades right here. So I'm gonna start with the lightest orange and just sweep that through the crease. This might not be light enough for a transition color, but let's give it a whirl. And this is a Smith 235 brush. That light orange isn't really light enough for a transition, so I'm just going to use this light orange from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. So I'm just going to go back to that orange shade and just add a little more just right directly in the crease there. There is a ton of pale orange colors in the Viseart Neutral Matte palette, which I use a lot, but I always have that in my kit, so that's at work right now. Pretty much a bridal staple for matte shadows. I think I'm gonna grab this dark red shade and start to add that through the crease as well. The thing I like about this brush is that it has a tiny, teeny little point. It also has a lot of fullness for blending as well. So you can use it to specifically put things in the crease, and then you can also flip it to blend. I'm just going back through with a bigger blending brush. This brush is 1200 years old, so I'm not even gonna tell you what it is, but it's just a very fluffy blending brush. I'm pretty sure this was the first blending brush that I ever bought. I've had it since I started my makeup class at Napoleon back in 2005. Just gonna take my small Smith 253 brush, and then I'm gonna add this kind of burgundy-ish shade in this little V area, so just close to the lash line and back up into the crease. For this makeup today, it's the 4th of July, so I did want to do something that was a little more wearable for a barbecue. So this is going to be my makeup of the day, and someone requested a Viseart Dark Matte Palette tutorial, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I know a ton of you have requested a lot of different looks on my YouTube channel, and I always take note of these look requests in my phone, and eventually I will get to them. I apologize, but I'm not a full-time YouTuber, but I am a full-time makeup artist, and it's the busy season right now. Just gonna take a little mixture of these two together on the tip of this fluffy brush and just blend. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of that orangey shade and just blend right along that line there, just to try and diffuse that out. Unless it's something harsh, I'm always gonna try and blend it out as much as possible. The ultimate goal is to be very diffused and blown out. Just gonna take this clean Morphe M504 and just buff that. Hopefully you can see that, but sometimes these like little kind of skipped lines start to happen. And what I'm gonna do to fix that is just get the lightest color that we're working with on this fluffy brush and just blend right over that. And hopefully that will fix that. And then I'm just gonna even up the other side, even though it's not happening on the other side, but just color-wise, we wanna make it even. Underneath the eye, I'm gonna take this top corner color and using the straight edge of this brush, I'm just gonna tap that underneath the eye. I didn't do my base first because I thought I might get a little bit of fallout from these colors, but they've been so good so far. For the edge of that color, I'm just gonna grab this Smith 247 brush, and with the lighter orange, I'm just gonna buff along that line. Just gonna go for something a little smaller and fluffier with nothing on it. This is the Morphe M506, and I'm just gonna buff along that line right there. Go back to my concealer brush and just clean up underneath there, and then go back over and make sure it's nice and blended. I feel like a lot of people do like that very crisp look underneath the eye, but I prefer it to be a little more blended out and diffused. I don't really have plans for what I'm gonna do on the center of the eye, so I think I'm just gonna grab the orange shade, the lighter orange shade, and just pop that right there. I want this eye look to be all matte because I am going to pop a little bit of glitter on the lips. So I didn't want to be too shimmery shiny on the eyes and then glittery on the lips. I just think that's probably a little too much. And this is the Royal Langnickel large eyeshadow brush, and I'm just patting that orange onto the lid. I think I'm pretty happy with the eyes, so I'm gonna move on to the rest of the face. Lately I've been using the IT Cosmetics CC Your Skin But Better. This has SPF 50 in it, so it's a great summer foundation if you are going to be out in the sun, because SPF 50. So I'm just using this IT Cosmetics, the other side of this foundation brush. This is like Lazy Girl's Dream foundation brush because you can just swing it either way for foundation and concealer. I'm going to be at a barbecue today, so I've never truly tried it out. Super hot weather, but for the most part, just a normal summer's day. It actually lasts really well on the skin. And it is a CC cream, but I feel like it has a medium buildable coverage. I just like to just ever so lightly buff over the edges of the shadow just to kind of seamlessly blend it into the skin as well. Before I forget, I'm just gonna quickly line my waterline with this Nabla Magic Pencil in Light. I'm just gonna go in just a little bit with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores, just in the areas where I do have quite enlarged pores. I'm just gonna use this Courtney Jane Jumbo Shadow Brush for this, and it's just basically right there at the beginning of the cheeks. Pores get a little bit crazy there. I've been loving this Brow Divine from Nabla Cosmetics. This is the shade Uranus. It's not super dark, that's why I like it. I'm just gonna start to make a line underneath the brow. I always make sure I fill in that little gap that I have there. And then bring it back to the tail. And then I'm just gonna use little strokes to go back through the brow and fill in any spots that are needed. I'm just using a very light touch as well. I don't want these brows to get too crazy. For the front, I'm just gonna lightly flick upwards. I always do put a little bit of product at the front here, but then I end up brushing most of it out anyways, because I think the front of the brows, when you have them penciled in too much, that's when it can start to look really fake and overdrawn. So I'm just gonna take the end, the little spoolie, and just brush that back through the brow. And then lately what I have been doing is just grabbing my foundation brush and just buffing over the front of that brow, just very lightly, and that just kind of takes off the edge of that sharpness. I think it's definitely appropriate to have more of a sharpness towards the tail of the brow, but at the front, no. And I'm just gonna take this IT Cosmetics Superhero Lash. I've been liking the little trial sizes of them because this is one of the mascaras that I do love when I first get it, rather than the mascaras that are better after a few weeks. So this way I can always have a fresh tube. For cheeks, I'm using this Nabla Cosmetics Gotham Shade and Glow. For the apples of the cheeks, I'm gonna take my favorite blush ever. This is Hourglass Dim Infusion. I'm just gonna pop that on with my Royal and Lang Nickel blush brush. I like this blush because it's got that peachy kind of warmth to it without being too overpowering. And I hate it when you put a blush on and automatically it's too much on the skin. This one you can kind of build up a little bit without it getting too crazy straight away. I have so many new highlighters right now, it's kind of crazy because I'm in love with all of them. So today I think I'm going to use this one, another new obsession for me. This is the Beverly Hills highlighter from Ofra. And I'm just gonna take, again, that jumbo shadow brush from Courtney Jane, and I'm just gonna grab this side of the highlighting palette just right here. Pop that on the tops of my cheekbones. With highlighter, I just be careful not to get right under there because I have some fine lines underneath the eyes. So if I get too close to that, obviously highlighter highlights things, so I don't want it to highlight my fine lines. So I'm concentrating more on the backs of the cheekbones up here. It's almost kind of like a triangle shape. So it'll get thinner towards the front and expand a little bit as you get to the back. I'm just gonna, Herman, stop. He's literally outside my door just squeaking his toy. I'm just gonna run a little bit of that highlighter just underneath the brow bone. Just to make sure the highlight blends in with the face, I just take the edge of the foundation brush, buff it in so it all kind of becomes one, the foundation, the highlight, the blush. Just gonna take a little bit of this color right here, run it over the Cupid's bow, even though we all know I'm probably gonna end up overdrawing my lips. Just one last step on right underneath the eyes. I'm just gonna take a little more of that IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye and just put it right there in those little hollows where I get a little bit of darkness, and I'm just gonna pat that in very carefully. Try not to disrupt any of the blending work that we've just done. Pat it in a little bit with my finger. I've got this kind of smoky teal color in my hair right now, and this week I just received this new shade from Pinky Rose. This shade is super unique. I haven't seen anything quite like it. It's kind of like a dark navy teal. Jeffree Star's Abused is more navy. Stone Fox from NYX is a little bit lighter. Vindictive from LA Splash is a lot lighter. So this is truly a unique shade, and I was super excited when I first laid eyes on it. So I thought I pretty much created this look around this lip color. As I do sometimes, I just get really excited about a color and plan the whole makeup around my lipstick. The color is called Trendsetter 2. So I'm gonna be doing kind of a little bit of an ombre glittery lip. So first I'm just gonna start by doing the bottom lip. While it's still wet, I'm going to apply this NYX glitter just to the center of the lip. The reason why I'm doing one lip at a time is just so that I can get the glitter on while that lip is still wet. I'm just gonna take my Smith 304 brush and just a little bit of that color and just crisp up the Cupid's bow. So now that the look is done, I'm going to take my NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. I actually tested this on one half of my face the other day and it did make a huge difference, so I'm now obsessed. So I hope you guys liked this week's tutorial. Like I was saying, I dyed my hair this kind of smoky teal color and I just thought an orange eye would look awesome with this. Just to speak a little bit about the Viseart palette, I did have someone request a look with this palette. They're more of a small kind of compact palette, which is why I love them for my kit. They are a French brand and they have been around for ever. The neutral matte palette I've had in my kit for a while now and it's definitely a staple for me. These bad boys though are not cheap at all. This little palette retails for $80. If you are a makeup artist, they do have them on Friends Beauty. So that's where I usually buy mine from for 40% off, which makes them about $46 or something. So yeah, they aren't cheap. These purples right here I've used on clients before. They're super pigmented, so you definitely need to make sure you lay down a transition shade first. You can't just kind of go hell for leather and start blending with that dark purple in the crease without anything underneath it. So just a heads up. But yes, if you are looking for something super pigmented, great quality, minimal fallout for your kit, the Viseart palettes are amazing. They do have a lip palette as well. I know you guys are going to be asking for dupes for these colors right here, and honestly, probably for these two colors, definitely the Morphe 35O palette. These two colors right here, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I do have some loose shadows from Star Crush Minerals. I think Maroon Matte and Cherry Bomb. They're pretty similar to these colors right here. So nothing palette wise that would have those specific 4 colors in them. Just a little update on the fundraiser to raise $100,000 for cancer. We are now 2 weeks in and we've almost hit $6,000. So that is freaking fantastic. I'm so excited. If you haven't watched the video, I will link it in the description box below. So yeah, I'm going to stop babbling right now because I've had way too much coffee and it's the 4th of July and I'm gonna go eat way too much, regret it later, and then yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I hope you guys have an awesome week. I will see you guys next Tuesday for my next makeup tutorial. I'm going to be using the NYX HD. I'm just going back through with like a, are you serious?